Whoa, friends, welcome to another video on the Spindatt channel. This one, not sponsored by Squarespace, but it is unknowingly brought to you by my good friend Nicole and her business, Bianca & Co. They do eyebrows and stuff. Check out Bianca & Co. I will sell a sponsored slot to anybody in any industry. $13,000, really, well, money talks. Do the jump! Plus, understandably, I can see how this setting might seem a little confusing for the topic, the title of this video, but I think it juxtapositions the story really well to convey where I'm at now, like what my interests are, the things that I like to do, versus where I started and the journey that it took to get here. I guess in proper storytelling, you wouldn't have to explain that. For some of you, I hope it's relatable. For the rest, I hope it's just kind of interesting. Do the jump! Do the jump, do the jump, come on, come on! Ugh. Norton rides mountain bikes the same way I do. So I spent, without exaggeration, the entirety of my free time growing up at places like this, which is news to none of you. Now, if you look at what I'm doing here at this concrete park, it's pretty easy to draw some parallels between the stuff you do on this and the terrain that it is, while it is smooth, and mountain biking. And in drawing those parallels, I can totally understand the question of how is it that you as a BMXer, an adamant BMXer growing up your whole life, went to like fixed gears, drop bars, and then slowly dabbled into mountain bikes? What's the deal? For sure, concentrating all of my time into similar places always, living in a bubble, having the blinders on, will definitely limit the exposure that you have to any other types of bikes. As a matter of fact, I had zero interest in any other types of bikes. I didn't even want to know about them. My parents took me to watch a local cross-country race and I was like, not for me, not BMX, not cool. And besides that, my only other real interactions with mountain bikers were the, as I remember, sort of cantankerous characters that would show up to skate parks on like early 2000s Banshees with bottom brackets higher than this thing could ever hope to have, and doing sick drops, just like slaying the drops on their huge, massive free ride downhill bikes. Now I'm sure those guys were probably having the time of their lives, but the look of it had no influence on me whatsoever. I just remember looking at it and being like, I don't want to be like that. Without any social media or any sort of media in general showing me the crazy cool things that were going on with those bikes, apart from drop-in, I think us as BMXers perceiving mountain bikers in the way we did when they would come to skate parks, there was a little bit of a superiority complex going on there where we, as BMXers, thought we were better at everything than any mountain bikers could do. The perception was people were riding these like bigger bikes than this, burlier bikes than this, at skate parks that we were riding BMX at. And in your head, you're like, I don't understand why you need a bike so big. One day, I followed Dan. Dan and I have been very, very good friends for a very long time. Dan and I went to go get a burrito one day. He had his winter fixed gear and I had my BMX. Followed him from the skate parks, the Halifax Commons, to Burrito Jack's, literally standing up, sprinting as hard as I could the entire time, wondering why it was that I could not keep up with my little legs just giving them everything they got, my lungs just a pounding. What's the deal? Why am I so slow? You're on a bike, I'm on a bike. Seed planted to grow into stuff like this. Enter my second year of college. My first year of college, my roommate drove us to school literally every day. I didn't have to pay for parking, I didn't have to pay for nothing. It was very easy. Second year, that roommate and I, we didn't live together. I was on my own. And worse yet, they moved my school from the Halifax side over to the Dartmouth side. That means there's land over here, there's land over here, there's water in between with a bridge. Halifax explosion happened in there. Maybe you've heard of it. And I had to get over there from here. I tried to take the bus once. It was awful. And then I remembered that day chasing Dan on his winter fixed gear on the way to get a burrito, and I was like, I need one of those. Thankfully, at the time on the East Coast BMX forums, a lot of guys were doing fixed gear conversions or single speed conversions to old whatever bikes and posting them up, being like, hey, this is what I built, this is what I'm using to get around. And everyone was like a little bit older than me. They got to a point where they didn't need them as much anymore after posting. So I started messaging some of them to see if they would sell one for cheap, and I found one. I don't actually know what it was, but it was an old steel something that was converted to single speed. The triple crank was still on it. Chain in the middle ring, single speed conversion on a road hub on the rear. I knew I wanted to get a single speed because, well, single speed is what I knew. Single speed's easy. Single speed is BMX. I was naive, but you know, it worked out in the end. Dan and I actually ended up converting that bike to a fixed gear one day in his attic shop. And I rode it a lot. Like a lot. There was actually one night I was riding, and I don't know why I did this. Riding along, I was like, I don't even want to tell this story. I said, that front wheel looks crooked. And I took one foot off. This was a single speed. And I was like, I'll just kick it. I'll just kick it straight. And as I was riding, literally like booted my front. I crashed so hard. Anyway, that's the needlessly long story of how I got into bikes with drop bars, narrow wheels from BMX instead of ones like this, and why it took so much longer to get into these after getting into these, because I'm kind of there now. Okay, go check out my friend Nicole's business, Bianca & Co. She spent $13,000 for this ad space. Make sure it goes half decent for her. I'd feel so bad to see that money go to waste.